Welcome to Lake Fork Pro. My name is Mark Mitchell. Hey, I'm going to show you a little trick I've been doing for about 30 years or maybe even longer. I introduced it into a TV show many years ago. And nowadays there's some guys kind of doing some things that are similar and thinking that they've just started doing this or something or other, like they came up with it. But it's something we've been doing as guides for many years. I remember back in the 90s putting nails in trick worms and using them for weight and then hooking the deal in the middle. So what I got here for you is what I call a modified Whacky. Now, I used to use the nail and insert it into the trick worm right here, but what would happen is you put 40% of that as nail, you don't get no wiggle out of it, and then when it went to the bottom, it would actually fall over like this. And so what I'm doing, I wanted that bait to stay on its head like so. So what I do, I take a crappie jig, just like you get right here. This is a Big Bite brand. You just get a crappie jig, whatever weight you want to throw. An 8, 3/16, stuff like that's fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this crappie jig head and I'm going to just trim the top of this trick worm off just a little bit, and I'm going to thread this crappie jig into this worm, just like you were putting on a cricket or whatever. You're going to pull this down. You're going to insert that head in there, like so. Okay, got it? That's what we got. Now we're going to take our pliers and we're going to bend that hook right back into the plastic. Got it? Now all our weight's on the nose. Now this little booger will catch grass, so what you want to do is you want to take your dikes and cut that off. So now you have all your weight. Instead of a nail, it's a crappie jig head, which gives it some real nice appearance, you know, gives it eyes. And then you're going to make this thing bounce on the bottom like this. So when I say modified Whacky, I get these zip ties at Walmart. You can get them in any color you want. If you're throwing, you want chartreuse, you want hot pink, you want methylate, you match it with the worm you're throwing. This particular one is watermelon purple. We're going to put this thing about middle ways. We're going to put this zip tie on here, right there behind what we call the egg sac. And we're going to take our dikes and cut that off. And then I like a trocar hook. I'm not too particularly wild about that weed guard. I usually take that off of there. But that little trocar is a 1/0, I believe. And what you're going to do is you're going to hook this thing in behind the zip tie like so. And so when you're tied up here, when you're dropping this thing on bottom, it's going to be just like this, bouncing on bottom. And you get a great hookup with it, And you can go through like 20 fish on one worm because your zip tie is actually holding your hook instead of the plastic. So you're jerking against the zip tie versus the plastic. And you can rig anything like this. I catch them from yum dingers and all that. This is a particular trick worm, a zoom trick worm, you can see here. But now it's going to bounce off the bottom like this. It's a modified Whacky. And I do believe those eyes are way better than a nail. Not to mention all the weight's on the nose, so you get 90% of the worm shaking, or 99% of the worm shaking, because the weight is on the outside of the worm. So like I said, you can rig it up like there's a 4-inch yum dinger rigged up like that with a little heavier head if I want to fish a little deeper. Here's a big old 6-inch yum dinger with a bigger weight on it. I'll fish it out about 15 foot of water. And I give them a presentation they don't ever see out there. When everybody else is dragging, I'm hopping this bait along the bottom and catching them. It's one of my go-to baits. I've been doing it for 30 years, maybe even longer, I don't know, long time. And it's one that you should have rigged up at all times. I do. It's always on one of my rods at all times. Now, some days I feel if the bite's aggressive, I'll go to something a little thicker and move a little bit more water. Or if I want to fish a little deeper, I'll definitely go something a little bigger to move more water. But just regular standard, 0 to 10 foot zoom trick worm, hard to beat. Well, there you got it. Hey, y'all get out there and try that. It's a real neat little trick, and it does catch the fish. And y'all, I appreciate you for stopping by and checking us out. LakeForkPro.com. My name is Mark Mitchell, and let's go get them.